The following short was co-written and pitched to us by one of our Patreons, Crumb. Thank you so much, and this episode is dedicated to you. And if you, listening at home, would like to be involved in future Geeks for Fun shorts, head over to our Patreon and join the writers tier. Thank you. It was an early sunny morning on the Kent farm. At the break of dawn, Kakarot awoke by the cries of the rooster with a smile on his face. The Saiyan leaped from his bed and began the day's work. After a titanic breakfast, a far too short shower, and getting changed into his overalls, Kakarot headed to feed the many animals that made Kent Farm their home.
Yo guys, how y'all been? Huh? I didn't check. Anyway, it's breakfast time.
As Kakarot began loading up buckets of animal feed, he heard a rather odd noise coming from one of the stalls. He peeked over the divide to see the female pig he had purchased from a country fair a while back, tending to a litter of 10 or so piglets.
Whoa! Where did you all come from? Oh wait, I get it. The guy didn't say you were gonna have babies.
His bewilderment at the situation was soon replaced with a childlike joy at having some new friends to talk to. He gave the mother pig her daily breakfast and continued the morning routine. After the tasks had been completed, Kakarot changed into his action suit, calling Nimbus, and flew off into Metropolis. At the day's end, as the sun set on Kent's farm, Kakarot limped down the drive a bit more rough for wear.
Man, that Metallo really knows how to throw a punch. At least he keeps running out of power, or else I'd be in big trouble.
Without getting out of his outfit, Kakarot stumbled to the barn to complete his animal's dinner routine, discreetly dipping into the feed himself. During his rounds, the fighter checked up on the mother pig and her litter to see how they were faring. The baby pigs were more active than the last time. They scurried about on the hay-covered floor, playing as much as their little bodies could handle, all except one. In the corner of the stall, Kakarot could see a piglet curled up in a ball, oinking quietly as it called out for its mother. The martial artist felt a bit saddened at the sight of this little guy, but thought he couldn't do much. So he entered the stall, picked up the little piglet, and tried nesting him next to his mother.
No worries, little guy. You'll get better soon.
Several days passed as Kakarot continued his usual routine, but as the days turned to weeks, Kakarot began to feel a bit melancholy at his own situation. The martial artist had learned from masters all across the globe. He had created a personal style that was constantly evolving, with strength and speed far beyond what had been thought possible. At least, that was before the age of the superhero. Now, his strength paled in comparison to Diana. He might as well have been standing still next to the Flash. Hal's energy blasts outshone his own. And Batman, well, he was Batman. Kakarot began wondering if his gains in power were leveling out, if he was reaching his limits. Returning to the family farm with an unbalanced mind, he checked back on the runt of the litter and noticed how much worse the situation had become. Before, the runt was simply small and weak. Now, the young pig was nearing death's door. He had become so frail that his bones were showing through his skin. When before, Kakarot could hear a faint oink coming from the piglet, now all he could hear was a light wheeze. The fighter noticed how the other pigs were doing compared to the runt. They were much more lively and active, faster, stronger, and cleverer than this poor shrimp. Kakarot felt immense sadness looking at the fella, but quickly realised what he needed. After completing the dinner routine, he entered the stall and picked up the runt, bringing him to his home. The pig thought the barn was a little bit cleaner.
Come on, little guy. You're not out of this yet. My master once told me that before you can get stronger, you gotta figure yourself out. So we should probably find you a name. Tommy? No, you're not a Tommy. You're more of a Ray. Yeah, Sugar Ray.
And with that, Kakarot added a new routine to his daily schedule. After breakfast, and before he'd fly to Metropolis to check out the next restaurant on his food review series for the Daily Planet, he'd take some time out of his day to tend to the piglet. He'd bathe him, feed him, and give him medicine. Before he would leave, Kakarot left the little pig in a small enclosed area with enough food and water to last him until he returned. As time passed, little by little, the pig did improve, though the infant warrior was fighting for his life every day. He seemed to be breaking through his ceiling, bit by bit. While the pig was on his own quest to get stronger, Kakarot was undergoing a revitalized training regimen. Every day, with every battle, with every encounter with a new foe, Kakarot learned something different, experimenting with how far he could push his arsenal of techniques, becoming much more effective with each passing day. By the year's end, the once struggling little piglet was now the healthiest out of the litter, stronger, faster, and full of life. He could finally play and socialize with his brothers and sisters, now lapping them as they ran around the pen. The empowered piglet oinked proudly at Kakarot, nudging its snout on its master's leg, as if to say thanks.
Nah, thank you, little guy. You helped me a ton, too.
Hey all, if you enjoyed this, then be sure to head on over to our Patreon to help support the team. With your help, we can get more actors like the fantastic crew of this episode, some more art, and even some animations. There's a ton of fun perks, including access to episodes early. So thank you all for the support, and as always, take it easy folks.